Hey y'all, it's your girl Lynette J. Morris, the owner and CEO of Go Getter LLC. And I just want to say, hey y'all, welcome again to another Thought Provoking Thursday. As you can see, today I am coming to you live from my bed. Today has been a very busy day, but it just dawned on me that I had not done my recording for Thought Provoking Thursday. It was one of those days that was very busy and it's a little chilly outside, so I couldn't wait to get home to put my fuzzy slippers on and my PJs at the bottom and t-shirts so I can get really comfortable. And then it then dawned on me, I'm like, oh my God, I did not record my Thought Provoking Thursday. So y'all are getting it while I'm working from the bed with my laptop. All right, y'all. So listen, earlier today, one of my best friends and I, we did a live earlier today introducing something that we are planning on doing for female entrepreneurs for a Woman Entrepreneurship Day in November. And so we were talking about freedom in finances, right? And it really made me think about just kind of talking to you all about it, right? Because a lot of us talk about we want to make more money, X, Y, Z, but one of the things we have to realize is that the money is not for the sake of just having money, right? Having more money gives way more freedom than not. I know from both ends of the spectrum, right? I grew up very, very poor. My mom, I was raised in a single mother household. I was raised in the projects in New Orleans, Louisiana. So very, very poor. I can remember one time seeing my mom's welfare check because I was on, my mom was on welfare taking care of us, and food stamps, all of the things, public assistance. And the check was like $198, right? And so as I got older, I'm like, I don't even know how my mom made ends meet off that or whatever, right? But she made it happen. Like, we never starved. We always had a roof over our head. I don't know how much the rent is in the project, but whatever it is, right? Um, but we were limited in what we could do, right? So I like nice clothes, nice purses, and all of that. Naturally, off of that, you can't get that. Right now, I love to travel, but I didn't grow up traveling at all. I don't like to travel. I absolutely love to travel, right? But that wasn't an option when I was growing up. We never took family vacations, right? I can remember one time when I was little, probably in about fourth grade, fourth, fifth grade, something like that, or whatever. Every year, I was a Girl Scout. Every year, the Girl Scout leader would take all of the Girl Scouts out of town on a trip or whatever, right? And we had gone to like a water park or something in Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas. But she would tell everybody what the trip is, what it was going to cost at the very beginning of the school year, and we would take it at the end of the school year, which gave a lot of time for parents because the school was like right in the project, right? Literally, we can walk there, less than 5 minute walk. So she knew everybody. Parents were like, low income parents, X, Y, Z. So it was a low cost trip, and you had like the entire year to pay on the trip. And so my mom made it happen that one year, right? A lot of years I missed the trip, but she was intentional. Like, this year, I'm gonna make sure you get to go or whatever. I had a good time, but it was like, travel, okay, whatever, right? I was a homebody more like person. So even I didn't even take a flight. My first flight, I think I was like 30 something because it was after Katrina. And Katrina was in 2005. So yeah, I was already 30 something years old before I took my first flight. Wasn't a big person that felt like I needed to travel or whatever. Now I absolutely love to travel. Y'all know, if you've seen my vlogs, different trips that I've taken, you know that I travel in a lot of international travel now, out of the country, wherever it is, but I'm somewhere at least once a month, right? Love traveling. But I didn't grow up doing it, right? It's because we didn't have the finances to do it. So it wasn't affordable. Like, we couldn't afford to do it. But I also knew that I wanted a different life for my kids, right? I wanted something different for them. And so even with me making a choice transitioning from full-time employment to full-time entrepreneurship, that was one of the things, right? So I knew that I had a dream life. My dream life consisted of being able to take my children on trips, making sure they had memories, right? So as they get to be adults, they can turn around and talk to their kids, whatever it is, right? And have memories of taking different trips every summer, going on family vacations. I wanted my kids to be educated in private schools. That's tuition, right? I didn't want my kids to be born and raised in a project where I was, right? Because I have terrible, traumatic filled memories of, people getting murdered, all the other things, right? I didn't want that to be my kids' story. So I knew that I had to buy a house somewhere where they wouldn't see that. They wouldn't witness those things, right? So that requires a mortgage, right? All of these things. I like nice cars or whatever, right? That's a car note. That's car insurance. That's gas. All of these things or whatever, right? Something my mom didn't have to worry about because at this point she's 87 years old and she still doesn't know how to drive. So my mom never had a car note, right? So I knew that I wanted a different life and I wanted more freedom than even employment was going to give me, and that poverty just wasn't going to give me, right? So I had to make sure that I was in alignment. The dream life that I had is in alignment with the income that I generate, right? So again, I know both aspects of the spectrum or whatever, right? What it's like to be poor, how limited that is, not to have the revenue that you desire to have to do the things that you desire to do, and to have enough income to cover all of those things, right? So I definitely encourage anybody, which is why I harp on multiple streams of income for entrepreneurs and for anybody. Even if you're still working, if you start an entrepreneurship venture as a side hustle, side part-time gig, whatever it is, I strongly encourage it, right? Why do I encourage that? For people that are working, if you have one stream of revenue and let's say the job closes, right? Then what? Then you have no streams of revenue, right? So always have like a plan B or a backup plan, and that backup plan should be an additional stream of revenue or more, right? I encourage having at least 5. If you have your own business, you can implement at least 5 streams of revenue in that particular business, right? Even if you're doing it on a part-time basis, there are ways that you can generate revenue on automation. There's things that you can do with like affiliate marketing, selling other people's products, all of those things, right? If you still want to work a full-time job, like you can have 5 streams of revenue from a business that doesn't require you to put a lot of time and effort into it, right? You can do it on a part-time basis. But I definitely encourage multiple streams of income not because of the money that it gives, but because of the freedom and flexibility that it allows you to have, right? And then allocate those streams of revenue in different areas of your life. So I'm just thinking of when I was a full-time employee, I was a therapist. So I have a master's in mental health counseling. I was a therapist, but still my salary was only $40,000 a year, right? $40,000 a year. If you divide that by 12, you have like $3,300, whatever it is, right? $3,300 is barely enough to pay a mortgage, right? So my mortgage at the time, listen, my mortgage right now is $1,700, right? Tuition, $1,500. Once you pay tuition and mortgage, your money just is gone at that point, right? If I was still working full time and trying to figure that out, right? So then I still need gas, I still need car insurance, still need light, water, all the utilities, all the other things, right? That would have to be absorbed by another stream of income, or I had to scrap that all together and do something to replace that income that would allow me to make way more money, right? Which is why I chose full-time entrepreneurship, because full-time entrepreneurship, if done correctly, you have access to limitless revenue, right? And why I'm saying limitless revenue, because you determine how much you want to earn, right? You determine how much you want to market yourself or market your products or market your services, whatever it is. And then that allows you to just continue to generate revenue over and over, right? It has no caps. When you're working for somebody, there is a cap because they're going to give you a salary or an hourly wage, and that is about as much as you can make unless you do full-time, unless they do overtime, whatever it is, or they allow you to make more, but you're working more, right? So it's not like they're just giving you that, right? Even thinking about my daughter, who recently transitioned from being employed by somebody else, and she's the CEO of my company. When they gave her a raise, as hard as she was working, she got like a 25-cent per hour raise. Like, what is she gonna do with a quarter per hour? Like, she has to work a whole 4 hours to get an extra dollar, right? That just is not logical or whatever, right? But that is how business goes, right? Because typically, most of us are worth a lot more, but the companies really can't pay us what we worth, because then they wouldn't be seeing any profits, right? So I definitely encourage entrepreneurship. Full-time entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's very difficult. I am not saying go into a full-time entrepreneurship venture, but if you are gainfully employed, you can definitely do something on the side as a side hustle or something part-time entrepreneurship, right? Just to have additional streams of revenue. And then you want to leverage those streams of revenue. So what do I mean by leverage the streams of revenue? If the job that you're working is paying you enough money to cover the bills, but then you don't have anything extra, then determining what is it that you want that's extra, right? And how much that costs, right? And then you can give the additional streams of revenue a income goal, right? To accumulate, right? In that particular stream of revenue. So let's just say um, you work and it's enough to cover all your bills, but you don't have money to treat yourself to the movies. You don't have money to treat yourself out to dinner once a month. You don't have money to travel, XYZ, right? So that's three different things that you want to do. So then you want to figure out, how much is it going to cost me to treat myself out to dinner once a month? How much would it cost for me to treat myself to a movie and have all the snacks at the snack stand once a month or twice a month, however often you want to go, right? How much will it cost me to travel? So let's just say, if you say, well, I want to travel once a month, go out to eat once a month, and treat myself to a movie once a month, right? So this month I want to travel to Mexico. I want to go to take in a movie, and I want to take myself out to dinner. So I'll say, okay, if I take myself out to dinner, that's probably going to be $100. If I go to the movies, hell, the movies might be $100, right? So once you tally everything up that you want at the popcorn stand, whatever it is, right? So let's just say $50. I was just joking, but you know the movies is rather expensive. So $100 for dinner, $50 for the movie, and you want to travel to Tulum, Mexico, or whatever, right? So let's just say with flight, the stay, all that, you might spend $2,000. So you're looking at about $2,300 for that particular month to take yourself out, travel, all the other things, right? So that's like entertainment and you treating yourself, right? So you know, okay, well, stream number 2 of revenue, I need to generate at least $2,500 from this, right? So let's just say, if you say, well, I'm gonna start selling t-shirts, and I'll sell a t-shirt for $25 a piece, right? That means you need to sell 100 t-shirts to hit your quota of $2,500 to cover that expense, right? Let's just say, if you say, okay, well, now I want to purchase me a new car. Your car was paid out, you know, or whatever. It's giving you problems. You know, you need a new car now, right? So now I'm going to have a car note. The job was only covering the bills, right? So now I need to make enough money to have to cover for a car note, right? So then you implement another stream of revenue, and you make sure that stream of revenue is enough to cover every expense associated with that car, right? Which is the car note, car insurance, maintenance, gas. So let's just say you say, okay, I'm gonna get me a nice Toyota Camry. The Camry car note may be $500, right? 500 for the Camry. You know, gas every week may run you, depending on how much you run, let's say $50 a week. $50 a week times 4 is $200, right? So $500 for the note, $200 for gas. Insurance may be another $200, right? So you're at $900 at this point, right? And you may say, like, maintenance or whatever. You don't get maintenance to a car every month, but let's just say they'll toss an extra $100 in for maintenance. So you're looking at $1,000 to cover everything associated with a car, right? So now you have to implement another stream of revenue that's going to cover the car expense, right? So don't think in terms of things that I can't have this because I don't have the money. You have to start thinking differently to say, how am I going to accrue the money to cover this, right? And then figure out what is it that you have, whether it's a product that you have that you can sell, a product that you can create to sell, or if it's a service, right? So a lot of times we don't even think in terms of selling our knowledge, right? Packaging out what we know and selling it, right? So you can either sell your knowledge in an ebook, creating an ebook teaching people how to do XYZ, right? So if you are already creating t-shirts, then maybe create an ebook to say, this is how you start your own t-shirt business, right? And you tell them step by step in the ebook, this is what you do, this is where you get the t-shirts from, this is how you print them, this is how you sell them, XYZ, right? So because you already have that knowledge and you're already successfully selling t-shirts, you can put that knowledge in an ebook, digital product, right? Ebook, and sell the ebook, right? So now you need to say, if they have 10 ebook, the book, let's just say the ebook is $20, right? And it has all the information, resources, everything they need to successfully have a t-shirt business, and you sell that ebook for $20. Well, you only need to sell 50 to get $1,000. That covers everything for the car, right? So you've packaged your knowledge. Now you have an ebook to talk about how to set up your own t-shirt business, and you're selling t-shirts, right? If you have anything else to come up, implement another stream of revenue, right? It's just not that difficult. We just have to start thinking out of the box and not have that limited thinking, right? We have to convert our mindset into a money mindset, right? That gives us freedom. Like, how much freedom do I want? What do I want my life to look like? And how much is it going to cost for me to live this particular life? If it's a dream car, write the dream car out, how much the car is. Do a calculation on how much the car note will be, right? They have calculators out there that can give you a roundabout figure online. Just car note calculator, car payment calculator, right? It can give you a ballpark figure how much your car note is going to be. If you have a particular house that you want, they have mortgage calculators, right? They can give you a ballpark figure of how much the mortgage is going to be on a house. All the things are already out there and they're accessible to us, right? So figure out what you want your life to be like. What kind of house, what kind of car, where you want your children to be educated. If you want to be educated in public school, you ain't got nothing to pay. If you want to be educated in private school, figure out how much the tuition is, right? Do you want to travel? Do you want whatever it is, right? Map out your dream life, how much it's going to cost, and then what do you need to get from where you are currently to where you want to be. And you would be surprised at how easy it is for you to make that transition if you really want it, right? Because the mind is going to tell you, the mind is going to come in agreement with you. So if you say we can do it, the mind is going to say yes we can, and then start calculating and figure out how we do it, right? So you give it the goal, and the mind is going to reverse engineer of how we're going to get there, right? So the goal is to buy this Lexus vehicle or whatever, right? The Lexus vehicle, $50,000. We can do this. Let's figure out how we can do it. Once you tell the mind we can do it, the mind is going to start calculating and say, well, you know what? This is all we got to do, X, Y, Z, and you follow the blueprint, right? If you say we can't do that, the mind going to come in agreement with you. Yep, we can't do it. Not even trying to figure it out. So in order to change your mindset, change your life, change your circumstances, again, you have to change your mindset and start figuring out, like, what do I want? And then let's figure out how to get it done. I've given you some ideas. If you are working at a part-time small business as on a part-time basis with streams of income, if you are a full-time entrepreneur, you have the ability to add countless streams of revenue to your business. Like my business has 10 streams of revenue, and at this point we've eliminated some, added others, all the other things, right? So we have 10 streams of revenue, and they are utilized to cover the different areas that I want to cover in life. From our corporate apartment is covering one area that we are going to expand and grow into. So we just got our first corporate apartment. We have coaching services. It's a whole gambit of things that we offer under Go Getter LLC. Again, 10 streams of revenue, and they're all allocated in some area or another. And definitely we have one stream that's allocated to my travel, which is why when you see my blogs and I'm all over the world, it's because it's covered. There's a stream of revenue that covers those expenses. Never had that before growing up because, again, I grew up poor. But now I know both ends of the spectrum, what it's like to be poor, how limited the lack of finances is, and then how having way more streams of revenue than I ever had in my life in one business is helping me to be able to manifest the dream life that I have. So hopefully this has got you all, it's thought provoking, getting you all to think of some ways that you can manifest your dream life. I just gave you several ideas. Just start thinking of the different streams of revenue that you can add to your business, whether it's part-time or full-time. If you need assistance with that, that is what I do as a coach under Go Getter LLC. I can assure you that you will be successful in your business venture and adding different streams of revenue to cover the areas that you want, so that you can live the life you love and love the life you live. All right, y'all. So hopefully this has provoked your thoughts some on Thought Provoking Thursday. Thank you all for signing in again today, and I'll see you all next week. I promise I won't be in the bed next week. I'll probably be back at the office, but thank you so much for joining me this week. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.